We seem to put the rights of some of the most violent and dangerous people in society first, above the interests of the British public.
In this video, watch how Owen Jones tries to twist the narrative. He actually accuses the soldier, Macer Gifford, of having no pride in Britain just because Macer doesn't want terrorists walking our streets. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the like and subscribe button, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Now, let's watch this together, and I'll share my thoughts at the end.
Has increasingly been in the headlines. Just last week, it was announced that the Home Secretary would robustly defend the move to strip Shamima Begum of her British citizenship after the European Court of Human Rights raised concerns and called for an investigation. Well, this comes amid pressure from some quarters for British Egyptian activist Alaa Abd El Fattah to have his citizenship removed following the emergence of historic social media posts. Now, a new report has described the UK citizenship stripping powers as racist, warning that around 9 million people are vulnerable to having their British citizenship removed, with people of colour 12 times more likely to be at risk than their white peers. Well, the research from the Runnymede Trust and Reprieve argues that citizenship is a fundamental right and questions whether the government should ever have the power to take it away. Well, today we're asking, is citizenship a right or a privilege? Joining me to discuss that are writer and broadcaster and CEO of Runnymede Trust, Dr. Shabnah Begum, author and volunteer soldier Macer Gifford, journalist Owen Jones, and author and broadcaster Emma Trimble. Welcome to you all. Good to see you all. So, Shabnah, your report suggests the government shouldn't be able to take people's citizenship away, but isn't that the ultimate sanction when it comes to the worst offenders that it feels like our country don't need and don't want?
Well, as our report indicated, we are creating a two-tier citizenship regime because actually the penalty that you've just described will only apply to a certain category of person. So the analysis that we did has looked at the fact, as you described, that people of colour are 12 times more likely to be at risk of having their citizenship deprived. That's 3 in 5 people of colour in this country. People like me, born and brought up in this country, who could potentially be deprived of my citizenship based on some assessment by an individual politician, the Home Secretary, about what is conducive to the public good. Over the last couple of decades now, what we've seen is the mass stripping of citizenship. We are global outliers in terms of the number of times we deprive people of their citizenship, both in terms of the numbers of people, but also in terms of the people impacted, which is disproportionately people of colour.
But the argument is that it's a deterrent for people who might be thinking of joining an extremist group. I mean, that seems fair enough, doesn't it?
Again, the view about whether this enhances national security is entirely contested. We have people ranging from Britain's independent reviewer of terrorism legislation, the commander of the armed forces in the US Armed Forces in the Middle East, and we also have the former director of counter-terrorism in MI6, all of whom conclude that this does not enhance national security. Citizen deprivation powers do not make us safer.
May say it doesn't make us safer. Why are we doing it?
I actually think it does make us safer. At the end of the day...
you mentioned, we heard the people who are saying it. No, with all due respect, these are...
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, this is about public safety. You've got to remember the types of people who are having their citizenship removed are people referred to the Home Secretary who have joined terrorist groups, who are extremely violent and dangerous people. It's been deemed by the government that it is conducive to the public good that they're stripped of their citizenship. Now, at the end of the day, that's a useful tool. If we look at recent cases like Shamima Begum, she's been described by MI5 as a real, incredible threat. We've got to start listening to our security services. We put them through the ringer if they get things wrong. People like Salman Abedi, who was referred to Prevent, and there were many cases where the security services could have intervened early. Yet we miss those opportunities. So when we get warned about people, let's listen to them.
Oh, and we're talking about some bad people who are involved with war crimes. Serious offences, serious organised crime and national security. So, people who are involved in terrorist groups. Does refusing to strip them of their citizenships kind of shields them from their accountability, doesn't it?
No, we have a justice system in this country, and that assesses evidence and then decides a sanction based on that evidence, rather than a politician being able to press a button to erase someone's citizenship without any process at all. I mean, look, there are Brits at the moment fighting for the Russian army. No one's calling for those people to have their citizenship stripped because they can't have their citizenship stripped.
I would call for them to have their citizenship.
Well, I mean, that becomes even more sinister because then you're saying literally anybody could have their citizenship removed at a whim. The reason that's absurd is we should just try them in this country. They come back. We put them on trial. We decide then if there is a sanction. At the moment, Britain strips citizenship of more people than any country on earth other than Nicaragua and Bahrain. No offence to those countries, not bastions of human rights. And, you know, most people of colour could have their citizenship stripped away legally. Only 1 in 20 white people could. Why, you know, you could be, myself, for example, a white Brit. I could do anything. I could go on a killing spree. Don't worry, I'm not going to do that. No one would question my citizenship. Harold Shipman can kill hundreds of elderly people. No one would suggest his citizenship stripped away. Yeah. Shamima Begum, who was a young woman, who was a girl who was groomed, I would say those Brits fighting for Russia are far more of a problem. No one's calling for their citizenship to be stripped away. Why are we applying these double standards?
Let's just qualify that's because you don't have dual nationality and someone else might do.
No, that's the point. So we're saying what we're saying is people of colour in this country. We're saying you're not quite as British as everybody else. If you cross a line, we'll take away your citizenship, but that doesn't apply to other people. So you're literally saying there's 2 categories of British people in this country.
Frustrated because we seem to put the rights of some of the most violent and dangerous people in society first above the interests of the British public. One point, because in regards to the Brits who have gone out to fight for Russia, they've, just like the Islamic State fighters, they've been burning their British passports. These people, when they feel like they've got a bit of power in their hands, they sort of despise Britain, and they say so online, and they fight against our interests, and they fight against us. And then they burn their passports, and then when, instead of making them lie in their bed, when it comes to the crunch time, we're inviting them back and patting them on the back. In regards to Shamima Begum, there's a real danger that she won't get accountability for her crimes in Syria.
So whatever you say, a lot of people at home will be saying what Macer is saying. Why are we putting these people who are they're bad people doing some bad things?
Well, again, we have a justice system, and what was being argued here goes against the.
But it's imperfect, the evidence.
Justice, where you have a jury to consider the evidence and make a decision on that basis, is not perfect, but it's the best system we have. And what you believe in practice
can come from abroad to testify against you. There's a real risk you could get a slap on the wrist, and there's no accountability.
Come on, basically.
Well, what you're saying there is you don't trust British justice. So you don't sound like you've got. Well, you don't sound like you've got. I mean, we're talking about lack of pride in country. It doesn't sound like you've got very much pride in the British justice system.
I'll come to you in a sec, Macer.
You believe in punishing some people twice and punishing some people once. That's what this means in practice. It means if some people commit violent offences, terrible offences, they will get punished twice. Other people, Harold Shipman, biggest serial killer in history, he will only get punished once. Okay. Why do you believe in punishing some people twice and some people?
Quickly respond to that.
What's frustrating is that at the end of the day, Shamima Begum, she committed her crimes in Syria. What witnesses can come from Syria to the UK to testify against her? There's a real risk that if she were to come back to the UK, that the terrible crimes that she and others have committed in Syria won't be accounted for, and she would get off with a slap on the wrist. It has happened many, many times. 1 in 10.
She would get away with a slap on the wrist. That was the final line from Macer Gifford, and he is absolutely right. The reason Owen Jones and the Runnymede Trust want these people brought back to the UK is because they know our justice system is soft. Did you catch the moment Macer told Owen Jones, "It doesn't sound like you have very much pride"? That is the heart of the issue. These activists view Britain not as a home to be protected, but as a problem to be solved. They are more angry at the government for stopping terrorists than they are at the terrorists for hating us. If you burn your passport to join a death cult, you don't get a slap on the wrist. You don't get to come home. I want to know what you think. Is Macer Gifford right? Do these activists have any pride in Britain, or do they just despise the country that gives them the freedom to speak? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the like and subscribe button, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.